Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I'm Jordan, and today I just wanted to talk about the Joker's new look in Zack Snyder's version of the Justice League. Now I know I'm not the first person to talk about this, but that doesn't matter to me. I still wanted to talk about it because the Joker is my favourite character in all of fiction. So let's take a look at the blurry picture first. This was the first one released a week before the other two, but somehow this completely flew under my radar. I don't know how I missed it. I guess I haven't been that interested in the Justice League. I haven't seen the original Justice League film. I haven't really cared about the Snyder Cut version either, to be honest. I have an insane bias towards the Joker, and I accept that. I know it's kind of bad, but I accept that. Like I said in my last video, I only read comics to do with the Joker. But that's just for starters, to get me into the comics more, for me, because I never used to really like reading, that I had to ease myself into it and read stuff that I'm actually really interested in and that I like first. And then once I'm invested in it, then I'll start reading other things. But I have a complete bias to Joker, and I accept that, and so should you. That's why I normally only watch DC shows and films that involve him. Like, the Dark Knight trilogy is really good, but if I watch any film, it's always The Dark Knight. And instead of watching all three films one after another, I just watched The Dark Knight 3 times in a row. Anyway, let's look at the picture. So obviously the main focus is him holding the Joker playing card. And it's really cool. If you didn't know, this is the playing card that they normally use in the comics and the cartoons. It's not in every single one, but it has popped up occasionally. So it's really cool to see it. Now, I don't know if this has been in any other live action thing before. This might be the first time. I don't remember what Joker playing card they used in, or playing cards they used in Suicide Squad. The less I think about that film, the better. There was only 4 good things about that film: Harley Quinn, Deadshot, the soundtrack, and when it ended. And no, I don't mean the ending was good. The ending was awful as well. It was just nice that the film was over. And I don't remember if this was in anything else. I didn't watch Batman vs Superman. The only DCU films I've seen is Man of Steel and Suicide Squad. And I really didn't like them 2 films. I'm not a big fan of Superman. So I really don't care about the DCU. That's why I'm not so knowledgeable about it. But seeing the Joker's new look has really got me interested. Like I said, I have a bias towards the character, which is, is wrong, but I accept it. And so should you. So yeah, I don't know if they used this Joker playing card in the teaser trailer for the Snyder Cut as well, where you saw the rubble of Arkham Asylum on the floor and there was a Joker playing card floating through the wind. I don't know if it's the same one. Now, this is obviously fan service, but it's the type of fan service that doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt anyone. It won't affect the acting or the characters or development or plot or story in any way. It doesn't really matter. But what I notice is there's some splodges on the card. And I haven't seen anyone talk about the Joker playing card. They probably did, because it's such an in-your-face sort of Easter egg. But there's some splodges on it, and I don't know if that's blood or paint or just dirt. The sort of splodges look a bit too perfect circles to be blood, if you know what I mean. And then he's wearing gloves. And it's interesting because these don't look like surgeon gloves. The blue ones? They're normally a bit thinner than this. This look quite thick. These look like the more yellow cleaning gloves. If you're doing the dishes in the sink and you don't want all that grimy, gammy water. The water with all the the fat and the food particles, all the leftovers, gravy and all that stuff, some sauces. You don't want to touch that, so you put these bad boys on. And then you go in and you wash it. You give it a good scrub because you don't want to touch it. Because if you ever wash dishes in the sink, you know what I'm on about. Because you weren't bothered about putting the gloves on. You're like, nah, I'll just do it quick. And then you touch that water and it's like you think you've been infected with something. This is the most disgusting thing to touch. And you know it. And you touch it and a bit of leftover food gets on your skin and it's all some fat and some gravy, some sauce. You're like, oh. And it makes you gag. It makes you want to throw up. That is the most disgusting feeling ever. I'll get it sidetracked. I don't know what the gloves are called. They're just yellow cleaning gloves, I guess. Now let's actually look at Joker himself. The thing I find interesting about this picture specifically is really smart, right? I know this is quite an obvious statement, but I'm new to YouTube, so just give me a break. I'm doing what I want here. The focus is obviously on the Joker playing card, as the Joker himself is blurry. But the thing is, you want to see more. Because it's blurry, you're like, oh, he looks different. I want to see what he looks like. This is giving me some good vibes, some good creepy horror-esque vibes. Like, he looks a bit demented, you know? And you're like, yeah, I want to see more. I want to see what this guy looks like. The Joker card's cool. Maybe that's why they did it as the one from the comics, you know? They're like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool Easter egg. People who like the comics and the cartoons will recognize that and be like, dude, that's cool. I like that. And then you see it, you're like, I want to see him. Show me what he looks like. So I like the way they did this because there's a lot of intrigue to it. And the thing also about all of these pictures is they're all in black and white, which is very curious, you know, it's very interesting because the Joker is obviously known for being a very colourful character. I don't mean just like by murdering people in brutal ways and making jokes about it. I mean, his character design is very colourful. You know, there's a lot of purples, reds, greens, blues, whites. I know white isn't a colour, but it is a light shade. I know that white is still in this picture as well, but it's more like a dull white. It's very black, white and grey in this picture. And I think it's so interesting when you take a character known for their colour, you know, they leave an impression on the screen or on the page, wherever you see them, you instantly know who it is. All your attention is drawn to it because it's such an outburst of colour. It's really eye-catching, you know? So it's interesting when you take someone known for their colour and take the colour away. It makes it a bit more intriguing to me. And he sort of looks a bit bold. I don't know if this is just because he's out of focus, but the top of his head looks almost bald. His hair looks very long, obviously, but very thin as well. A bit like Gollum, or a bit like Jeremiah, or Jay. I don't know if his name was actually Jay, or if Bubba Talks just called him Jay. So he reminds me of Jeremiah after he had the accident. If you've watched Gotham, you know what I mean, after the time jump. It looks very thin, very loose, and almost balding. He does resemble Jeremiah quite a lot here at that point of time, and I haven't heard anyone say anything about that, but that is instantly what I thought. He also looks a bit like a ghoul or a skeleton. I think because he has black around his eyes, black makeup, and his mouth is red, but because it's in black and white, it makes his face look very skull-like, obviously because, you know, he has two eye holes because it's black, so it looks like the eye holes because there's no bones in the eye, and the mouth. And his cheekbones, you can sort of see it. It looks very, very skull-like. And this, I really like the look of this picture. Well, let's look at the full body picture now. I think this picture looks good. Right, I think this Joker looks good. Anything is better than the Suicide Squad Joker. Well, actually, I take that back. Injustice 2 Joker, a lot of the costume design for him looks really bad. It does look like the design for that character in that game was inspired by Suicide Squad to me, because I'm pretty sure in that game he had chest and stomach tattoos and they were visible. Like his chest and stomach were on show in the game. So very few outfits look good on the Joker in that game, in my opinion. I think he looked much better in Injustice 1, and I know the skins in that game were proper skins based on comics and other things. But I even think he looks a lot better in MK11. So yeah, the worst designs to me is Suicide Squad and Injustice 2, but they look very similar. So I really like this look. And I don't know if it's the pose he's doing where he's holding the card, but it just sort of, it gives me vampire vibes. And the thing I'll say about his outfit is obviously he's wearing surgeon clothes and the gloves again. So he's obviously wearing surgeon clothes, but they're not like the modern day one. These are like cloth ones, a bit more old school. And because it's cloth, it gives me very sort of Victorian surgeon vibes, or a bit Sweeney Todd, and I know he was a barber, but it gives me the same sort of vibe. I think maybe the way he looks, and because it's black and white, it looks very Sweeney Todd-ish. To me, he also looks a bit like a vampire. Maybe that's just because Jared Leto is playing Morbius, but he has more prosthetics, but he does have a very vampire-esque look to him. I think the way he's sitting, because it's all black and white, the long hair, the stare, the eyes, the black around the eyes, but the stare he's giving, the blood around the mouth, obviously. I really like the blood around the mouth. Obviously, it's not that original because Heath Ledger had scars. Joaquin Phoenix gave himself a blood smile, and in Mortal Kombat 11, he does cut his thumb and put a smile. It's stuff that has happened before, but it's very on point, in my opinion. This is very Joker-esque. I don't know if that's blood on his surgeon clothes or just dirt or anything, but I do like his look. I don't know if that's blood on his face or just smudges from doing the makeup. It looks like he might have a scar on his eye, or just blood, or just the makeup has smudged or run or something. And yeah, I see the resemblance to Marilyn Manson, like Jeremy John said, or The Crow, or any of these things, any of these horror icons. A Leatherface's skinny, emo younger brother. I do see that. But yeah, he's giving me real vampire vibes. And I know that is the point, because this is like the nightmare version of the Joker, and it suits. I know Bubba Talks is not a massive fan of this look, which I can certainly respect, but I personally really like it. And I know this is just the nightmare version, but I would not be opposed to it being the actual version. I think this looks so much better than the Suicide Squad version. And the thing is about this, is it's not overcomplicated. It's not complex at all, really. I'm not saying this look has ever been done before, and that it's not original, but then in a way it's not original. Listen, in a lot of versions of the Joker, he's had long hair, and I assume that this is green. There is no reason why it wouldn't be. There's no sort of restrictions like they had on Gotham, you know? Which, the restrictions on Gotham were stupid, but Gotham's a completely different ball, you know? You love it and you hate it at the same time. It's not like it's bad, but it's like at some points it's excellent, and at some points it is so bad. So you have mixed feelings about Gotham, but that's a different issue for a different day, you know? There's a whole thing about Gotham. But the thing about his look is it's not very complex. It's not, I don't want to say it's not unique, but if you said to someone, what do you think the Joker looks like? I imagine their picture of him wouldn't be too different from this. Obviously, they would probably say he was wearing a purple suit or some sort of colourful suit of some kind, red or pink. But he's dressed up as a doctor before, he's dressed up as a nurse before, he has dressed up before. So it's not very unusual. But I don't think this is like a dress-up sort of thing where he's trying to fit in or playing a game. I think this is him actually wanting to like butcher bodies. And you know, you could expect him to wear gloves like this. You can expect him to have blood on his face. Other people have had it, you know, blood smile, I mean. And obviously he's not the first Joker to have black makeup around his eyes. The real thing that sticks out to me is not the costume, because you could expect him to wear surgeon clothes. It's not too far-fetched. It's his stare. It's his pose and his stare, his posture. And this really screams Jared Leto. You know, the thing that I like about this isn't necessarily how he looks, but it's him. It's actually him. Do you know what I mean? The stare says it all. This feels like this will be the most serious Joker, and I don't mean in the same way as Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was serious, because that was tragic. And without getting into too many spoilers, you can understand why his Joker killed the people he did most of the time. There was a reason for it, but this, to me, is serious in the sense of the horror vibe, of a serial killer vibe. Like Jeremy John said, it has a very Death of the Family and Endgame vibe, where they were borrowing horror elements, even though it wasn't a horror comic book, which really suits the character well. I really love the horror sort of vibes when they go for it with the Joker. I think it suits him quite well, but it's the look he's giving you. I'm looking at it now. I'm zoomed in on his face, and it looks like he's looking into my soul. It looks like he wants to kill me. You know, it looks like he wants to butcher your whole family in front of you in such a gruesome way with you watching, and then he will torture you. And he will keep reminding you of what he did to your family. And I really like that vibe. It makes him look serious and dangerous, unpredictable, and murderous, psychotic, but in such an unhinged way, which is different from the other incarnations. This reminds me of the bit of Joker where Joaquin Phoenix just had the white makeup on and was contorting his body in such an unusual way. You've seen that clip from the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler when, you know, he's in the doorway. I really like this look. And I'm glad that, even though this is the Nightmare version, that they didn't go overboard. You know, I think that was the problem with the Suicide Squad Joker. I think they wanted to make him look completely different. So eye-catching, so overboard that it was just a bit too much. And you look at him in that film and you think, who is this guy? That doesn't look like the Joker. You think that's one of Joker's henchmen. You don't think that that is the real deal, which is probably why people were saying, hopefully it's one of the Robins. I assume they mean Jason Todd, to keep it into most of Batman lore, where he was the one who died by Joker. Or, in some cases, he didn't. I can't remember the reason why he turned into the Arkham Knight in the Arkham Knight game. But, he comes back to life in the comics, and he becomes the Red Hood. So it wouldn't be too far-fetched to have him actually turn into the Joker, which is why he had all the tattoos like the J on his face and the Robin suit with the ha-ha jokes on you. So it's very cool. I really do like this look. And like I said, Jared Leto's performance as the Joker, I think the performance itself wasn't the worst thing in the world. There was a few things I liked. I liked some of his lines. I actually really liked his laugh. And Jeremy Johns said he don't think he could have this laugh with this look. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Obviously, he still could make it work in some way, but I can't think of the type of laugh that I'm thinking of from any movie or anything. But I'm thinking of a really sort of horrific, horror, serial killer laugh that is just so intense, so sort of disgusting. Do you know what I mean? Like he is enjoying the pain. Like he is enjoying the pain he is inflicting on you. Which we haven't really had that laugh in live action before. Like a serious sort of laugh that he's actually laughing about what he's doing to you. That sort of laugh. Just a very evil, sinister laugh. Yeah, he does look like he's just cut up bodies, and I don't know if he has. Reading what Zack Snyder said about it is not too far-fetched to think that he has been cutting up bodies either. So I'll read what he said. But basically, he's saying that he really wanted to see this incarnation of the Joker go up against Ben Affleck's Batman. Because it never happened in the DCEU, and they're two iconic characters have such an iconic dynamic between each other that he thought it was, inexcusable to have that absent from the DCEU, which is completely understandable. How can it be the DCEU without something so iconic, so powerful, something that they could do so different and so right? Because this is his swan song, and it might be the only chance he gets at something like this, and it might be the last sort of movie like this, that he just wants to put everything he can in it, and do whatever he can, just do what he wants with it. Really just experiment, try new things. And you might be wondering where the tattoos have gone. He basically just said, I don't really care, just think yourself. Just use headcanon on to where the tattoos have went. Obviously, they could still be there because this is the Nightmare version of the Joker and not sort of his own version. But it makes him look a lot more serious because you look at the Suicide Squad version and you're not intimidated by him. He looks like a clown, he looks like a pimp or a roadman. He doesn't look threatening at all. He is the Joker. I like what Variety said, that he looks like a creature who crawled out the basement of a long-abandoned insane asylum, probably Arkham, because he does look like that. And they say he's wearing a hospital gown, so maybe I was wrong saying it looks like surgeon clothes, or if that's what they mean by hospital gown, and a surgical mask. I didn't see that in any of the photos, so maybe I'm missing a photo. And I don't know how much of this Joker we're going to actually get, but I'm inclined to think that we'll see him more than in one scene. Because Zack Snyder says that he has a different costume, which I don't know how I feel about this. He says that he has a bulletproof vest. To me, that doesn't feel very Joker-esque, but what comes after does. Obviously, in my head, I'm imagining it one way, and until I see it, that's how I can make my judgment. Because the way I'm picturing it probably won't be the way. But what interests me is that they also said he has a ton of badges on it. These are his trophies, which I assume are from detectives and cops from the GCPD, which is very Joker-esque. It feels a bit predatory, but instead of bones and skulls, it's badges, which is a very Joker thing to do, and I think that is the perfect thing for a Nightmare version of the Joker. It's very insane, very demented, very sadistic, very cool. So obviously I'm picturing it one way, but the way it will look, I feel will look better than what I am imagining, so I'm not being too harsh in it. And they say that his role in the film is that there is going to be a dream sequence when Darkseid has won, and this is the aftermath, and that the Joker plays the role of Christmas yet to come, from A Christmas Carol. And his character design in this does look very similar to how you would expect the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come to look like. He does resemble that quite a lot. And he says that the cool thing about the scene is that Joker is talking directly to Batman about Batman, which that just gives me goosebumps. I haven't seen much of Ben Affleck's Batman, and I don't know if he's good or not. So, like I said, I wasn't interested in the Justice League until hearing about this. This has really made me interested. I really want to see it. And I don't really care about the rest of the movie, to be honest. I just want to see how this turns out. Will this be the redemption of Jared Leto? It could be. It really could be. And if they play it right, and it is just a small bit, if they do what they did with Darth Vader in Rogue One and make fans really happy and like this look and feel and performance of the Joker, no matter how small it is, then who knows what will come. We could get another Joker film with him in it. Could be a different vibe to the Joaquin Phoenix Joker film. The Harley Quinn and Joker film might be back on. I don't know what is happening with that movie, if it got cancelled or what. And you could get a Batman film with Ben Affleck and Jared Leto, like just a normal Batman film with them two in it. Hopefully it'll be a lot darker. I don't sort of know the age rating of the new Justice League film, but I think, DC need to stop playing games. Now, I know I haven't seen a lot of the DCU films, but from the ones I've seen, DC are they're trying to beat the MCU at its own game, and it's just not going to happen. They see that is successful and they're trying to do it, and DC, that's just not working for you. You need to stop that. That is not what you're good at. You're good at dark, and we need more dark. You should play into the darkness more. Yes, okay, you can still have more family-friendly dark films, but I want to see more films like Joker, and even sort of worse than that film. Do you know what I mean? I want like DC Black Label, and even some of the comics in that, you think, it's not too bad, but you want more like Death of the Family, Endgame, very adult content. You want the mind manipulation, the violence, the threat, the realism, the grittiness. I can't quite explain it, but you just want to be blown away by the things that Batman does, because obviously, yeah, he's a hero, and he doesn't kill people in a lot of the incarnations of the Batman, but the things he does is still bad. And what looks like he's coming with the Matt Reeves Batman, I think that's the guy directing it, is that it's playing in that. You see him beat up the guy, and he just keeps going. He beats him up, he beats him, and beats him. He doesn't stop. He beats him, you're like, okay, that's enough. And then he goes again. And he keeps hitting him. And you're like, okay, Batman, you need to stop. He hits him, and it's like you need someone to pull him off the guy. It's like, okay, stop. You hit him enough. He's unconscious. He's probably in a bloody pulp. He's not dead. But, it's like the meme. We won't kill you, but your hospital bill will. And I like that he said, it seemed uncool to me that Jared Leto and Ben Affleck never had their characters together. And he thought that would suck if that didn't happen. And he says there's a scene that will explain why Batman has a Joker card taped to his gun that you see in Batman vs Superman. I haven't seen that film. I didn't know Batman had a gun, and I didn't know there was a Joker card on it, but that's cool. I think I'm going to have to watch these films in the lead up to waiting to this, because I am very interested. And it also hinted that the Joker murdered the Cape Crusader's sidekick by showing the absent Robin's armor spray painted with haha jokes on you, Batman. And that's really cool. So we still might have our cake and eat it, where the Suicide Squad version was not the real Joker. Maybe it was Robin. I don't know why they would look so similar, but we don't know what Robin looked like in that universe, to my knowledge. But him talking about what he did to Robin in front of Batman, that's insane. Come on. If you like the Joker, that's the best sort of Joker moments, is when Joker is talking directly to Batman about what he did, why he did it, and how it hurts Batman. You just love it because he's winning. That is when the Joker wins, is when he's getting under the Batman's skin. He's done what he's done, but when he really kicks you in the teeth, like in The Dark Knight, he has to have the ace in the hole. And that's one of the best moments, the interrogation scene, when he's saying you've got to save one of them, and he's really getting to him. And at the end, when he's saying that he turned Harvey, that's the moments as a Joker fan that you love. It's just, yes, all the violence and all the killing is all well and good, but it's really the way he talks about it and enjoys it, and really shoves the knife deeper in the wound. You think that you're hurting from what he actually did, but wait until he explains it. Wait until he tells you what he actually did to the full extent, and then it hurts. He said, I always wanted to explore the death of Robin, and he wanted to do flashbacks, so hopefully we will see Joker killing Robin. I guess it sort of confirms that he did kill Robin, and burning down Wayne Manor, maybe with him in it, or these are two separate events, I don't know. And he says he wants to show how they became like this, how he hurt him in a way that no one else really has, other than losing his parents. And that was sort of the point I was getting at. Is, yeah, say what you want about the Rogues Gallery and the other villains might be better than the Joker. Obviously, I have a bias towards him, I accept that. But I agree, no one really hurts Batman the same way the Joker does, and that is the best moments. It always is. If you look at the highlights from The Killing Joke, it's how he hurts Batman. He doesn't care about the people he's hurting because he probably physically hurts them more, but he only cares about emotionally hurting Batman. Do you know what I mean? With paralysing Barbara, doing all the stuff he's done to Gordon, killing Jason, is all to get the reaction. You know, it's like when you have siblings and you're teasing them and you're trying to get a reaction out of them, and when you get the reaction you want, you're laughing. You know, that is what you wanted. You get a kick out of it and you really enjoy it. And then they ask, oh, what happened to the tattoos? And he just said, I don't know. I would say that there's been water under the bridge. Who knows what happened? I don't know if he's wearing makeup. It's hard to say exactly. That's sort of what I was saying. So I think he means, you know, just like think what you want. It's not that much of an issue. Yeah, okay, it upsets continuity, but I think the decision is better overall, and that people prefer that it's gone than that it's there. So that there could be tattoo removal, they could have been fake. He could have gone in acid again and it removed it. He could be wearing makeup on top of it. He doesn't really care, and I think he wanted to play it safe. And even though this upsets continuity, it would have been a worse decision to keep it than to get rid of it. They say you can interpret that to mean Snyder just liked it better this way. His version of Justice League will exist on its own, making use of some material from other DC movies, but standing alone as some kind of Elseworlds tale. This is the thing I don't get about DC. I didn't know that. I thought it was a replacement for the original Justice League because I didn't watch it, but apparently it sucked and it bombed. I don't know. Most of the DC sort of canon movies in the DCEU are the worst DC movies. I'm not saying all of them are, but a lot of them are, especially to do with Joker content. Now, I know that some of you might like Jared Leto's Joker, and that's perfectly fine. It just wasn't my cup of tea. And you can enjoy that character. I'm not saying you shouldn't, and that because I say I don't like him, and I'm such a massive Joker fan, that my opinion is right over yours. I'm just saying, it seems like, you know, back to Gotham, I think Cameron Monaghan was such a great Joker. Let's just air quotation marks there, Joker. You can't see it because of the way I'm recording this video, but just think I'm Dr. Evil, Joker. He essentially was the Joker twice or three times, because I sort of feel like Jay and Jeremiah are two different characters. They went through a completely different thing and act in different ways, even though we only saw a small glimpse of him after the time jump. But that was so much better, in my opinion. All of his performance as a Joker-like character was so much better than the Suicide Squad version. But that's not canon. You know, obviously the Dark Knight trilogy, I understand why it wouldn't be in the DCU, but it's not, and that's such a better version of Joker. Obviously, Joker's such a great film, and Joaquin Phoenix was great as the Joker, but that's not canon. It just sort of feels weird. I don't know, like, if you guys will agree, but to me it just seems weird that they have good stuff, but the good stuff ain't canon, and the stuff that most people dislike is canon. It makes no sense to me, personally. And then there's that last picture. It's not that interesting, it's just a close-up of his face, and I guess it looks like he's holding one finger up, and you just see more details of his face. But yeah, the selling point for me is not the overall look of the Joker, because it's very sort of basic, you know? Like I said, it's not too out of the ordinary for him to look something like this. It's the stare, and I'm really interested to see what he does. Because obviously I think Jared Leto got the worst end of the stick. So yeah, I'm very excited to see his performance and to see if he can redeem himself. Like Jeremy John said, you know, it's Hollywood, you don't get many second chances, and he has got a second chance. But you know what actually interests me as well is that Jared Leto's actually willing to come back, because I heard that he didn't want to come back. You know, they treated him badly with Suicide Squad. They cut out a lot of what he did, and he was promised a lot in that film. And to credit of Jared Leto, that makes me think that it wasn't about the money, because he still got paid for all the work he did, but it was about his performance. He cared more about the acting and his performance, and to do justice to the role. Okay, I'm not saying that everything about that performance was perfect. I didn't agree with all the sort of, like the pranks he played on the cast members. I think that was a bit unnecessary, a bit sort of childish. It reminds me of the quote that Joaquin Phoenix said on Gladiator, and this is how I would like to compare Heath Joaquin to Jared Leto. Is he was saying, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember it exactly, but it really stuck with me, and I used the mentality he said in my performances at college, and it was really useful to do that in especially the harder roles, like ethically hard to play, because they're not very nice characters and they're bad people, and you don't really want to play something like that. It's out of your nature and character, and it really helps you to play a role like that you wouldn't necessarily do. You got to sort of take yourself out of it, and it just really resonated with me, because he said, people sort of say, oh, what would you do if you were the emperor? What would you do? How would an emperor act? And he just basically said, I don't need to think how an emperor would act. I am the emperor, so I will do what I do, and that is how the emperor would act. And I think that's the difference between his Joker with Heath Ledger, is they were the Joker. They weren't trying to be like the Joker. They weren't thinking about it too much. They were just being the Joker, right? And then Jared Leto, I've heard that he's a really good actor. I haven't seen him in many things, so I'm not sort of making this personal attack on him. I'm just saying that as the Joker, to me, it felt like he was thinking, oh, what would the Joker do? What would the Joker do? Joker would try and do this. I think Joker would do this. Let me try and be like Joker. Let me think how he ticks. Not the Joker ticks like this, so I'm going to tick like this. Do you know what I mean? With the pranks he was playing and shaving his eyebrows off, it seemed like it missed the mark, Obviously that shaving his eyebrows off was such a bad costume design as well. Like, the short hair was fine, but the mouth, the sort of chrome grill he had, and just most of the clothes he was wearing in the film were bad. I don't know if that was his choice. I don't know how much leeway he had, or I don't know how much decision making he had in the costume design of the Joker in that film, because obviously it's different for each film, and different on the actor, because some actors get to choose certain things or have a big influence on how they will look on screen, and then others really don't. You have to like it or lump it. But yeah, it just feels like someone trying to imitate the Joker, and it feels like that guy is like, I'm the Joker, baby. That's what Jared Leto's performance felt like to me, and I hope he can redeem himself. I think he can, and this looks very interesting. And like I said, it's not his costume design in the picture that is selling it to me, it's that pose, that stare. That is what excites me. That hit different, and I want to see more. It's actually made me intrigued to see the movie. That might sound bad, that it's such a small part of the movie, but it has made me want to watch it, and it's made me very excited to see it. And I hope I won't be disappointed, because I was very excited for Suicide Squad. I mean, with a trailer like that, who wouldn't be excited? But maybe I'll do another video talking about why I didn't like Jared Leto's Joker, because this video is getting quite long now, and I was only talking about some pictures. So, and just quickly, I wanted to say that obviously I'm doing something different this video by having gameplay in the background. I just thought me talking about this wouldn't be interesting if me just standing in the corner of my room talking. I didn't think I'd be that entertaining. I wanted to do something different, so I'd have gameplay in the background, sort of make it a bit more entertaining for you. So tell me if you like it. And obviously I chose Mortal Kombat 11 with the DC Elseworlds skins for the characters and playing as Joker to try and make it as sort of relevant as possible, I guess. And to any Mortal Kombat fans who have made it through the end of the video, just please don't judge me too hard. I haven't played MK11 for a while. I haven't played with the Joker for even longer, so I'm a bit rusty, but don't hate on my playstyle. I know it's very critical in the MK community. I know, I'm in a couple of the communities on Facebook, and it is very savage, and people are very critical about every single playstyle possible. So, the playstyle will upset someone. But listen, right? This is my defense. I haven't played it in ages, and also I'm fighting AI, okay? I'm not in Combat League, so don't give me that, because it's different. I'm playing against the computer, so I'm not hurting anyone. It's not ranked. So before you butcher me in the comments down below about my my gameplay in MK11, just keep that in mind, that it's against the computer. It's not in Combat League. So give me a break. Jeez, I can already feel the comments and the hate. Okay, I'm just a bit rusty. Please forgive me. Hello everyone, this is Jordan from the future. I just wanted to talk about the clip of the Joker in the Justice League trailer. Now, when I was editing this, the trailer came out and I wanted to talk about it, but there wasn't much for me to talk about, so I was trying to find how I can articulate it in a way, and I thought there's no point of me doing a whole separate video, so I'll just have it on the end of this video instead. I know that this video is quite long. I thought, well, this won't be much longer. So yeah, overall the trailer looks pretty good. I'm not that informed with the lore to talk about it, in my opinion. I don't think I have anything useful to say about the whole trailer, just that it looks decent. But I just had a feeling that he was going to say something about society because of the meme. And it felt like, yeah, he was going to be at the end of the trailer when I watched it. And I couldn't stop laughing when he said the thing about the society. But he sort of sounded like a bit of a snake to me. Like, not like in the slang term of a snake, but it's sort of like we live in a society, like very like a hiss, would you call it? Wouldn't you agree, Batman? You know, he's got a very serpent sort of voice, which I don't really know Jared Leto's normal voice, so I don't know how that sounds in comparison. It sounds better than the Suicide Squad version. Yeah, and then he was obviously still wearing his surgeon clothes or whatever, but he had the bulletproof vest on top, which I was talking about earlier, saying I don't know how I feel about that one. It wasn't what I expected, but I think it looks a bit worse than what I was expecting, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a whole thing, but it looks like he's just wearing it over the top of his surgeon clothes, which is a little lazy. I don't know. I don't want to judge it too much. The movie's not out. And you can't see the, I almost said medals, the badges of the cops and that on his vest. You can't really see much. Because I was quite excited to see it in colour and see, you know, more of it. And we see his face, and I think the blood smile looks good. It looks like there's a few cuts, or at least like blood marks on his face, which is cool. And I think his face looks pretty good. Now we're seeing it in colour. I know he's wearing white makeup and that, but to see it a bit more clearly, I think his face looks good. So yeah, I'm not completely sold on his voice, to be honest. And I noticed he was holding like an assault rifle, so I wonder what he's been doing. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about the trailer. Like I said, it was very short. I didn't have much to say on it, but I still wanted to talk about it, and I thought I might as well just throw it on at the end, you know. I had a lot of fun making this video, so I hope you enjoyed. So like if you enjoyed, dislike if you didn't enjoy, comment down below your thoughts and opinions, subscribe if you're new, hit the ding dong notification bell if you want to stay up to date when I post a new video, and share this video about with your friends, family and frenemies. To people who you think would like this content. I don't think there's anything else you can do for me. Maybe save the video if you want to rewatch it again and again and again. You can definitely do that. I give you my permission to watch this video multiple times. For any video that I put out, you can watch multiple times. I don't mind. It's okay. I know you might want to watch it multiple times. Anyway, I want you to watch more movies and shows, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Bye.